Okay, so now you have probably a lot more emails than this. That's just an example of 19 emails. If you have 100 emails or however many emails you have, here's what you're going to do next. Click on the first column, the first row, and use the filter. Then you're going to go over here to email status, and first you're going to only show click clear, and then only select accept all unverifiable. Okay, so I don't want any accept all unverifiable. I want either valid or invalid. Actually, I only want valid, but we're going to separate these into valid or invalid. What accept all means is that the server, you can't really check. It won't give you a valid response or an invalid response. It's kind of like a gray area, meaning you don't know one way or the other. So there's actually a little trick that I use to figure out what's valid and what's not. And it's the same thing I showed you before with the Gmail. All you do is hover over, and this one's valid because look, it has the four buttons here that are all highlighted and the profile picture, so we know it's valid. If only these two were highlighted and these two were gray, then it would be invalid, but this is valid. So we're just going to change this to valid. This one, again, that one's valid. Look, we have all four of these here. That one's valid. And this one is also valid. So, yeah, that's pretty much how you do it. So now we're left with valid and invalid. Let me give one more example though. So let me do jacob.t@twinerseo.com. If we hover over this, we can see it's invalid. So let's say, but I'm going to say it's accept all, right? And I'll do, as an example, okay. And then which one was it? I'll do this one as well. So let's go back to this example. Let's say you only have accept alls. You hover over this. So this one's valid. Alright, so we're going to validate it. This one is invalid, so we're going to say invalid. And then this one is valid, so we're going to say valid. Now we're going to go ahead and click select all, or actually no, now we're only going to show invalids. So if we show both of them, now we're left with no accept alls. All of the emails are either valid or invalid. Okay, so before we had valid, accept all, and invalid. Now we only have valid and invalid. And now we're going to only show invalid, and we're going to test and see what's going on here. So again, these were examples of invalid emails. So I'm gonna change. I changed these. They were valid before. That's why it's showing up as valid. I changed them, so I'm gonna change it as an example. So let's say this was Greg.h and this was Natalie.s. So you can see these are both invalid, and this one's invalid as well. So we're now going to guess them and try and find the valid versions using the exact same strategy from before. Let me make sure I am. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself again. So I just showed you how to validate the accept all emails. Now I'm going to end the video, and in the next one I'm going to show you how to validate the invalid ones. So stay tuned.